Alright, so here's a little preview of what I'm gonna show you how to make right in this tutorial.
Yeah.
Alright, to get started, you have to have After Effects. I don't know if the version matters. I have CS6, so if you have that, you'll be able to follow this better. I mean, because it's the same thing, but I don't know. Previous versions probably are pretty close. So after you have After Effects, open it up, make a new composition. I'm just gonna make it 1080p HD, 1920 by 1080, 30 frames per second. 10 minutes long is pretty good for what we're doing because it's like songs usually aren't more than 10 minutes long. If they are, you can just change it later, so it doesn't really matter. And name it whatever you want. I'm just gonna say yeah, I'll just leave it comp1, whatever, doesn't really matter. Okay. And you're going to want to, let's see, get a background picture. So file, import, find a picture. Let's say, I'll just use the one I did today, earlier. Where the hell is it? There it is. So you get your picture, drag that into the composition. Get, let's see. Oh, yeah, get your logo, or whatever logo you want to use for the center. Where did I put that? Probably in, there it is. Drag that on, make sure it's in front of the background or else you can't see it, obviously. And let's see, I'm gonna add, just because if you want it to, if you have like a color logo in the center that you're trying to use that'll won't go with all the colors if you're trying to change the picture all the time, it won't go with it. Like mine's yellow. If I choose like a different color, it won't go with it all the time. So you can make it black and white if you just right click on it, go to Effect, Channel. I'm lying, that's obviously the wrong, where do you go? Color correction is what I meant. And then black and white. And then mess around with these settings until it looks pretty good. Like, let's see. There we go. Yeah. And if you ever want to like invert the colors, which I just decided I want to do that, just go to Effect, Channel, Invert, and it'll switch it around. I like the way I like it black and white better, or like I mean I like it black circle white logo better. So I'm gonna do that. And then you can also, to make it look less, I don't know, I like the way it looks with whatever you call this better. Go to, right click on it, go to Layer Styles, Outer Glow, open that up. Shut up, phone. I don't have time to answer you right now. And then Make it the whatever color you want. You can adjust these settings however you want. I'm just like specifically doing it for the way I like it. So let's see. Spread. Oh yeah, make sure you change the blend mode to, well, you can do it whatever you want, but I'm changing it to normal so it looks so you can actually see it. I mean, you can't see it very well unless it's normal. Let's see. Spread. That looks pretty good. That just adds kind of like a I don't know. It just looks a little better in my opinion. So okay, you're done with that now, and go to the background picture and type in go over to the effects on the side and search for CC, and then after you do a space and then a K, and then this one should show up, CC Kaleida, I guess is how you say that. Drag that onto the background picture and change the size to 100, and the mirroring drop down menu, change that to what? I thought that said starfish, starlish, whatever the hell that is. Yeah, and then it'll look like that. I guess it makes it kind of mirror like a star. And that's it for the Kaleida for now. We'll come back to that in a minute. I'm gonna adjust some settings on all the layers, like add some expressions and stuff to make it move around. And what's this thing called? Spherize, I think, is what the next effect you need. Yeah, search for Spherize in effects. Drag that on to the background layer. And don't adjust any settings on that for now. We can't, I'll get into that further in a minute. Okay, now create a new composition. Name it, this is where you're going to put the music, so you can name it whatever you want, so you can tell that this is where the music is going to be. So I'm just going to call mine music. And make sure it's actually the size doesn't really matter because it's just going to be audio, but make sure the duration is like 10 minutes or something like that. And then get your music in here, import I'll get that new Alex Young song in here. That one's pretty sick. Drag that into music. And then go back to the first composition, and up in your in your project up here, go to the music composition, drag that into the comp 1, and then go over to the effects again, type in bass, and then it's the bass and treble right there at the bottom. Drag that onto music, get 6 of them in there. I got the song stuck in my head. It's so good. Okay, and then adjust all these to -100. I'm just gonna type it in once and copy and paste it. Make sure you do it on the treble part, not the bass. Just leave the bass at 0. So -100 treble for all of them. That just gets rid of a bit of the higher end of the song, so it's more the bass and the mid that control the. I'm moving my hands around right now, like you can see them. I'm an idiot. It's it'll be the mid to low end of the song that kind of controls all the effects going on with the video. Okay. So that's it for the music. Right click on the music, keyframe assistant, convert audio to keyframes. Gotta wait a minute for that. My computer is pretty shitty, so it might take a minute. Any day, any day. I think it's almost, yep, there it is. Okay. And open up audio amplitude, which is like the keyframes for the music. Audio, yep. You don't need the left or right channel, you can just leave them there, but you can delete them too if you want. I don't give a shit, do whatever you want. Okay, so you open up the audio amplitude and open up both channels, and you should see the slider there with all the keyframes. And then go to your logo or whatever you put in the middle and the background. Select both of them, just hold Control and click on both of them, or Shift or whatever. Press U. That did nothing. That's good. Okay. Instead of doing that, open up the effects inside of it. Not the effects. I'm lying. Open up the logo, this picture in the front, whatever the hell you put there. Go to Transform, Scale, and then this is where you're going to start using the, what do you call it, expressions. So I'm going to put this in like a separate, I'm going to have a link to it in the description. It's going to be like a site called Pastebin or something like that. You can just put in text so people can see it, because this is probably too much for the video description. Maybe, I don't know, but I'll put it somewhere and I'll have a link to it, or it'll be in the video description and it'll look exactly like this. But you open up Transform on that picture, then you go to the expression that's titled Logo Scale right here, and this could be different for you depending on how big your picture is. So, but I mean, if it works, it'll be fine. Hopefully. I'll just describe how to adjust the size if it looks weird on your video. So you copy that, go to Scale, Alt, click on that little stopwatch, that little circle, whatever you want to call it. Control V, paste that expression in there. And you should see the picture in the middle change a little bit, like the size of it. And you can open this up and here, let me expand that a little so I can see all of it. If your logo in the middle, this circle is what I'm talking about, if that is too big or too small, because this expression right here, when I put that in, that changes the size of it to the audio now. So when the song is playing, it'll go with it, kind of like pulse forward or whatever. But if yours, drag this around, look at it a little bit. If it's not like mine is, like just in the middle moving a slight amount, or if it looks weird to you, like you don't like it, if it goes way out and covers the entire screen, or if it's really tiny, all you need to do is go into the expression here, and the min stretch and max stretch, the numbers right here after them, that's how big and how small it can get. So that's 90% size, and that's 111% size. So if yours is too small or too big, you can just change, like, so if you want it to be going from, if it's too small, you would change this number higher up, both numbers higher up. But I recommend that you keep it in between the numbers, or keep about like 20 in between them. Like for example, 90 and 111, that's 21 in between them. So if you change this to like, if you need it to be bigger, change it to like 110 or something, then you would change this one to 130. So, and if you need it to be, I'm sure you get what I'm saying. You just change these numbers to control the minimum size and the maximum size of the logo in the middle. If you don't get that, you can just like leave a comment and ask a question about it or something. and I'll try to explain it better, I guess. So that's it with that. You don't need to edit this at all. You just copy and paste it in there. Well, I mean, you can edit it like I was just saying if it's I'm not gonna repeat myself. Yeah, you get it. Okay. Now we are done. That's all. We're not done. That's all you need to do for the logo in the middle, the circle logo, or whatever the hell you put in there. You could really put whatever you want in there, and that would control the size of it. So you close out of that, open up the background picture that you put the kaleidoscope thing on. Go to Effects, CC Kaleido, and then you're going to need another expression from this list right here. You go to, let's see, the CC Kaleido Center. Select that whole expression, copy it, go to Center, Alt, click on the stopwatch, Control V, and by the way, as soon as you click off of this, this is a pretty, it uses a lot of the computer power, this expression right here. So if your computer, if you had like a shitty computer and it can't handle much, this might, it might blow up. I'm not responsible if it blows up, but I mean, it might blow up. So let's see if mine explodes. Okay, no, it didn't. Mine seems to be handling it pretty well. What that does, that expression right there, it takes the audio keyframes up here, and it controls like where the center of the kaleidoscope is. There's like a little dot that basically moves like that across the screen, and the speed that it moves across, or when it moves across, it changes the picture, like you can see right here. It changes everything while it's moving across, because it's like the center of it controls the center of where everything is being mirrored from. So it's moving along here and it's changing the background, making it look cool and shit. So it's controlling that, and it is the SPD right there, that's speed. So the speed of it moving across the screen is controlled by the audio amplitude right here. So basically the music, how like loud and shit it gets, like the bass, I guess. Here, let me try to simplify what I'm trying to say. The music controls the speed that the center is moving across. So it'll go with the music. Everything in here is going to go with the music. I'm probably going to edit this shit because I'm talking way too much. Now you're done with the center part. You can just minimize that right there. And then next, in the Kaleido still, you're going to need to go to CC Kaleido rotation expression right here. Copy that. Go to rotation, Alt, click on the stopwatch next to it, Control V, paste the expression in there, and you should notice it changes a little bit more. That is also, it's not controlling, it's like the center kind of, but it's like too much for me to explain. It just adds more movement to this that's also controlled by the audio. Yeah. So I don't really know how to explain that with words. This video would be too long if I did that. But now you're done with the Kaleido. You don't need to edit anything in there after you got those two expressions. Next, you're going to need to add an expression to the spherize effect. But before we do that, you have to go to Layer, New, Adjustment Layer. You don't have to drag that down there, I just felt like it. And then go over to the effects here on the side and search for slider. There should only be one thing there, slider control. Drag that onto the adjustment layer. Now open that up in Effects, Slider Control, and then Alt-click on Slider, not slider, the stopwatch next to it. And this little spiral right here is called a pick whip. Click and hold on that and drag it up to this slider right here. So it's the one in audio amplitude, so it highlights it. And that links those two together, so it's taking these keyframes up here and putting them onto this slider right here. So copy that up there. And let's see, what do you need to add to that? There's something, I know. Okay. After you pick whip that up there, go to the end of it right here and type a /0.1. And then you can click off it. And you should see the numbers right here multiply by 10. So this one up here isn't the same anymore. They're like multiplied by 10. That's going to control like the circle kind of bulge that comes out of the center. This is going to be linked to the spherized part, and it's going to control that. So now you're done with the adjustment layer. You can minimize that, and you don't need the audio amplitude. Actually, you don't need the audio amplitude, but you need the adjustment layer open. So you go to Spherize, Alt-click on Radius, drag the spiral right here, the pick whip, click and hold on it again, and go up to the adjustment layer, and then highlight slider, let go, and it should link them together like that. And now it basically copies the keyframes from that one to this one. So they're linked together. So you kind of linked everything together, setting it up so you could just change one thing. So if you change the audio amplitude, all this stuff still right here would be linked to it, and it would change when you change the audio amplitude, which is like, audio amplitude is the song basically. So every time you change the audio amplitude and you add a new one for a new song, you can just have it linked to this stuff already, and it'll all be controlled by the new song. So you're done with Spherize. You're done with the background. That is basically it, actually. Wow. Hopefully you followed that whole thing. Let's see if it's actually working. Yeah, it looks like it is. You can see these are straight lines right here, and the reason they curve right there is because there's like a bulge going all the way around. I'll make a preview of it at the end so you can see it, but that's basically it for that. That's how you make it. And do not render, don't render this composition here with the music here has all the bass and the negative 100 treble on all this, so it'll just sound really bassy. You can't hear any of the high stuff, so don't render that composition. You want to create a new composition, call it like final or whatever you want for it'll be the last composition where you render it. And you're going to take the final composition, go back to the project, take comp 1, which is the first one you created, drag that into final, click that little sound icon there so it doesn't show up. That mutes it because you don't want to hear the bassy audio from that one. And then you go up here to your project, the song, make sure it's not this music one right here, it's the actual song, the MP3 or WAV, whatever file, not the music composition, the song that you actually dragged in there. Put that, drag it into your composition. The reason you don't want to do the music one is because that's a composition that's 10 minutes long. And this is the actual song that is, you can see the length right here is the end of the song. If you drag the music in here, you can't see where the song ends because it's a 10-minute composition. The song is just inside it somewhere. So you don't want to do the music one, you want to do the actual song. And again, make sure that the first composition is muted right here, but the music isn't muted, so because you don't want to hear all the bassy stuff from this composition with a negative 100 treble on all of those. It'll sound terrible. I'll render this out and show it at the end, and that's basically it. If I confuse you in any way, I I'm sorry I confused myself a little bit along the way of making this video. It's kind of hard to just make a project while recording yourself and not mess up at all. But that's about it. Again, any questions, I'll answer it in the comments if you leave a comment. And have a good day. Now I need to figure out how to stop this. That's it. Alright, I forgot to mention something. And also I noticed in the video the mouse like froze in one place for some reason. I don't know how to fix that. I don't really want to record the video again, but I'm sorry, it's messed up. I don't know. But what I forgot to add on at the end is go back to the comp 1 audio amplitude, the both channels slider. Alt click on that and put in this expression right here. It says, it'll be in the description, it's under audio amplitude and it says smooth and it has those numbers in parentheses right there. So go back to that, alt click on this stopwatch slider and paste that expression in there. That just takes all the keyframes, and because audio levels kind of jump up and down and they look like spiky lines going up and down sort of, this expression, I've played around with it a bit and those numbers work really well for like any song that you're going to use. They take all the keyframes and instead of having them like jagged lines going up and down, it changes it to more round, so it doesn't, because this is what's controlling all the animations happening, all the effects and stuff. You don't want it to be jumping around really fast, so it's going to smooth it out to make it'll look way better. So I forgot to add that on, or to mention that. And also I forgot to tell you how to edit this when you want to add a new song. If you've used After Effects for all, I'm sure you could figure out how to do it, but I'll show you anyway. So what you want to do is after this whole video, you've done all this. It's at this point right now. If you want to save this for later and ever use it for like another thing, you can. I mean, this is what I do for my music channel right here. This kind of layout. So I don't really want someone. I wouldn't really appreciate it if you would just like copy it and use it for all your videos, because I created this whole thing myself, kind of messing around. I made it for my channel to have an original visual experience or whatever. I don't know. It's just some original thing I made. So please try to resist the urge to, like, if you also have a music channel where you upload music, don't just, I mean, I can't really stop you, but please don't just take this and use it as your video layout for like the future, because I mean, I made it for mine. I'm just making this video because I've been asked a ton of times how I made it, so figured why not. Anyway, back to the point. After you've done everything, if you want to keep this for later, save it, obviously. And I've already saved this, but after you save it, what you would do when you open it back up again to switch out the song for a new one is you go to this music right here, the music composition, get rid of that song, import a new one, or if you have it open in another window, you can just drag it in. I'll pull in this one, so open up that new song. And you take that, put it into the music composition, go back to comp 1, and what you would do is you right click on music after you've added in the new song, you do the keyframe assistant, convert audio to keyframes, and it'll take a minute because of all the bass and treble effect on there. I don't know, it makes it longer. I don't know. I'll just sit here and wait in silence. And it's done. Okay. Once that's done, the bottom one right here, audio amplitude, will be the old one for the other song. So you don't need that anymore. But what you want to do is go into there. This should be open if it's not, open up effects, both channels, slider, and then click in here. Copy that, Control C. That's the smooth expression. Delete that. This is the new audio amplitude for the new music that you've added in. Open up effects, both channels. Alt, click on the slider. Control V, paste it in there. That smooths out the keyframes again. And you don't have to delete these if you don't want to. You can leave them in there. They don't affect anything. All you're using is this. And the way I showed you how to set up everything. Now that you've replaced that audio amplitude for this composition, now that you've replaced it with the new one, that changes all this stuff, all the effects that you've added in here. It changes them so they are all now synced up with the new audio. So it's pretty easy to change it. I'm sure there's an easier way, like if you had the plugin. I have it, but not many people do, I guess. If you have Trapcode sound keys or something, I think it's called, it's simpler to do things synced up to audio. Like you might want to look that up on YouTube, how to use Trapcode sound keys. You can use that instead of audio amplitude, but it's kind of more, it's expensive if you want to get the program, or, you know, like, illegally download it. But, let's see, that's it. That's how you would replace and add a new song in. Also, well, I mean, you can change the background. I mean, you don't want to have the same background all the time, I'm guessing. So, to replace the background, it should be the name of the picture up here. Whatever the background is right there. You go up to the project, find the picture, the background picture, right-click on it, replace footage, file, and then find a new picture. It needs to be 1080p or bigger, like 1920 by 1080 or bigger, or else there'll be black around it and it'll be a cutoff. So I'll replace it with this, show you what it looks like. That's how easy replacing the picture is. It just replaces it. That would look weird because it's all blurry, but this is basically like a burning boombox. That looks really fucking weird though. Actually that looks really cool. It's kind of blurry though. That's not very pleasing to the eye to see some blurry shit. Anyway, that's how you'd replace the song and everything. And then you just go back here. And the song should already be... Oh, no, it's not, actually. You would delete this also. And drag in the new song. And adjust... This will probably, for you, it'll be over there. You can just click on that. Hold shift while you're dragging it, and it'll attach to the end of the song. And then let go of shift. Then you can composition, add to render queue, render it out. I don't really have like a tutorial, or I'm not going to tell you how to render it out or anything. If you want to learn how to do the good settings, that's a whole nother video. You could look it up on YouTube. Just type in After Effects 1080p render settings or something. But if you're already using After Effects and you're trying to do this tutorial right here, I'm sure you know how to render a video, so. Or maybe not, I don't know. Anyway, that's it. Tutorial over. Goodbye.